There's a discount worth up to £2,500 a year that the law says you're entitled to, but your local council will never, ever tell you about it. In fact, the system is set up in a way that works against you finding it. You only get what you know to ask for. And right now, thousands of UK pensioners are paying full council tax on properties that could legally be reduced to zero. The mechanism is called a council tax reduction, and if you receive the guarantee credit part of pension credit, your entire bill could disappear. But here's the problem. The Department for Work and Pensions does not tell your council you've been awarded pension credit. Those are two completely separate government departments, and neither one talks to the other. You have to make the connection yourself. I've been there myself. I missed the severe mental impairment disregard for 2 years until a friend pointed it out. By the time I acted on it, I had already paid more than £1,000 that I simply didn't need to pay. Not because the rule didn't exist, because no one told me. In this video, I'll show you exactly which discounts you're most likely missing, and more importantly, how to claim them without spending an hour on hold or struggling through a confusing online form. There is a letter you can send by post that does all the work for you. If you're a UK retiree who paid into the system your whole working life and now feels like you're getting squeezed from every direction, hit that subscribe button. I'm going to show you how to take back what's legally yours. But before I give you that letter, let me show you the one discount that almost every pensioner over 60 is eligible for, but never claims. It's worth more than the single-person discount, and it's the one the council really hopes you don't find out about. The discount is called the Council Tax Reduction for pensioners. If you receive the guarantee credit part of pension credit, your council is legally required to reduce your bill to zero, or very close to it. That's not a maybe. That's the law. In 2026, that means a saving of anywhere from £1,200 to over £2,500 a year, depending on which property band you're in. For a Band D property in England, the average bill is now £2,171 a year. If you qualify for full council tax reduction, that entire amount comes off your bill. But here's the catch, and it's a significant one. The DWP and your local council do not share data. The DWP administers pension credit. Your council administers council tax reduction. They are separate systems run by separate departments with no automatic connection between them. So when the DWP awards you pension credit, they do not fire off a notification to your council. You have to apply for the reduction separately, in writing, to a completely different team. Now, claiming pension credit itself is hard enough. Many pensioners who are entitled to it never bother, either because they don't know it exists or because the process feels daunting. But even among those who do receive pension credit, a very large number never claim the council tax reduction on top of it. The money stays with the council because no one told them to ask. And this is the part that I think is genuinely unfair. You did everything right. You worked, you saved, you played by the rules, and now the system is designed in a way that requires you to navigate 2 separate bureaucracies just to avoid overpaying a tax. This isn't about being on benefits. It's about not paying more than you legally owe for a service you've already contributed to your entire life. Let me give you a quick number to put this in context. If you're on pension credit guarantee credit and you haven't claimed your council tax reduction, you could be losing between £100 and £210 every single month. That's money that's been leaving your account quietly, month after month, for years in some cases. Not because the law isn't on your side, but because the council never sent you a letter and you never knew you had to ask. That's the trap. The discount exists. The legal entitlement exists, but the system only works if you know to trigger it. Now, what if you're not on pension credit? What if your income is too high for that, but you're still struggling with the bill? There's another avenue, and it doesn't require you to go online or make a single phone call. Most people assume you have to ring the council to sort this out. And if you've ever tried that, you'll know exactly why it puts people off. You sit on hold, you get passed between departments, You explain your situation from scratch to someone who isn't quite sure what team handles your query, and by the end of it, you're not even sure anything was recorded properly. But there's a different route, and councils are legally required to offer it. Every local authority in England has a duty to support people who cannot, or simply prefer not to, use digital channels. Some councils call it the Extra Support Team. Others handle it through their Revenues and Benefits Department directly. The label doesn't matter. What matters is that they are required by law to accept paper correspondence and process your claim from a written letter. And that changes everything, for a few reasons. First, when you put something in writing, you create a record. The council has to acknowledge it. They have to respond. A phone call disappears into the ether. A letter does not. Second, a written letter bypasses the frontline call handler, who is often not trained on the finer details of discount entitlements. When your letter reaches the Revenues and Benefits team, it lands in front of the people who actually process these claims. Third, it gives you control over the language. You can use the correct legal terminology, reference the right regulations, and make clear that you know what you're asking for. That changes the tone of the interaction completely. I used to think you had to prove things like your adult child's income with a formal tenancy agreement, signed documents, the works. But the council tax, discount disregards, Order 1992 doesn't actually require that. If your adult child is on means-tested benefits or has no income, they can be treated as a disregarded person for council tax purposes. That means they don't count as an adult in the property, and you keep the single-person discount. I learned that the hard way after spending months assuming the process was more complicated than it is. Let me give you a quick example of what the numbers look like in practice. If your council tax bill is £2,000 a year and you qualify for the 25% single-person discount because your adult child is disregarded, that's a saving of £500 a year. That's £42 a month, and it doesn't require you to prove income with a stack of paperwork. A letter stating their benefit status is enough. But here's where most people get stuck. The council sometimes says no the first time. You need to know exactly what to say in your letter to get past that initial refusal. I want to spend a moment on something that doesn't get talked about enough, because even after people hear all of this, even after they understand they're entitled to a reduction, and there's a simple letter that gets it sorted, many of them still don't do it, and I think I understand why. There's a belief that a lot of people in their 60s carry quietly. The idea that claiming a discount on your council tax somehow means you've failed, that you're asking for help, that it's the kind of thing other people do, not you. You saved your whole life, you provided for your family, you didn't ask for handouts. And now, ringing up the council to ask for a reduction feels like crossing a line. I get it. I've been close to that feeling myself. The idea of asking the council for anything can feel like a loss of independence, especially if you've spent decades being the one who handles things without help. But I want you to sit with this for a moment. Council tax is a tax, a fixed charge levied on your property collected by the council. A council tax reduction isn't charity. It's a correction. It exists because the law recognizes that people on lower fixed incomes, including pensioners, should not pay the full rate. The discount was always intended for you. You're not receiving something you don't deserve. You're simply stopping the council from collecting more than the law says they should. So here's a small shift that might help. Next time your council tax bill lands on the mat, instead of feeling that familiar mix of frustration and resignation, pick it up, look at the annual total, and ask yourself one question: what would I do with that £42 a month? A tank of petrol, a week of groceries, £60 off the energy bill. That's real money, and it's yours by law. That question asked honestly is often what makes the difference between someone who acts and someone who waits another year. Now let's talk about the backdating, because if you've been eligible for a reduction for months or years without claiming it, there's a chance you can get a chunk of that money back. Council tax has been with us since 1993 when it replaced the poll tax. In the early years, a Band D property would cost you around £500 a year. Today, the average Band D bill in England is £2,171. That's roughly 4 times higher, and it has outpaced inflation for most of that period. The bill you're paying now is not the bill the system was originally designed around. At the same time, the number of UK households headed by someone of pension age is rising. ONS projections show the pension age population will grow significantly over the coming decades, and as that happens, more households will be on fixed incomes at exactly the moment council tax bills are at their highest point in the system's history. And with the state pension age now at 66, many people in their early 60s are in a gap period, not yet drawing their state pension but no longer earning a full salary. This is often when council tax feels most painful, and when the discounts matter most. The triple lock has kept the state pension rising, but the increases are modest against a bill that has gone from £500 to over £2,000 in 30 years. Every pound you can legitimately save on council tax is a pound that stays in your account for heating, food, or something that actually improves your life. And there is a window here that most people don't know about. If you claim your reduction now, you can ask the council to backdate it. Standard backdating for pension age claimants is up to 3 months, and in some circumstances longer. That's a potential refund of over £600 just for sending a letter. So the question isn't whether it's worth doing, it's why you haven't done it yet. Let me walk you through exactly what to do. This is not complicated, but the order matters. The first thing to do is find out whether you're receiving the guarantee credit part of pension credit. Not pension credit generally, but the guarantee credit specifically. This is the part that triggers the full council tax reduction. You can check this by calling the Pension Credit Helpline or by looking at your award letter from the DWP if you have one filed away. If you're not currently receiving it but you think you might be entitled to it, the Pension Credit Helpline can tell you. The number is available on the gov.uk website. If you are on pension credit guarantee credit, move straight to step 2. Write a letter to the Revenues and Benefits Department at your local council, not the main switchboard, not the General Inquiries address. The Revenues and Benefits team is the specific team that handles council tax claims. Your letter should be short and clear. Include your full name, your address, your council tax account number from the top of any bill you've received, and a statement that you receive pension credit guarantee credit. Then state explicitly that you are applying for a council tax reduction and that you are requesting backdating to the date you became eligible. If you have an adult child living in the property who is on universal credit or who has no income of their own, add that to the same letter. State their name and their benefit status. Ask the council to treat them as a disregarded person. That keeps your single person discount in place even though there's technically another adult in the property. Step 3 is the backdating request, and this is the part most people forget to include. Write clearly in the letter, I am requesting that this reduction be backdated to the date I first became eligible for pension credit guarantee credit. For pensioners, councils are generally required to backdate up to 3 months as standard, but in some cases, where there's been an error on the council's part or a genuine reason for the delay, longer backdating is possible. You won't get it if you don't ask. Step 4. Send the letter by recorded delivery. Keep a copy of everything before it goes in the envelope. If you don't receive any acknowledgement within 14 days, send a short follow-up letter stating your original letter's date and asking for confirmation it has been received. A viewer of mine sent this letter in March 2026. The council came back and said no. She sent a second letter, this time referencing the Council Tax Reduction Scheme regulations directly and asking for a formal written reason for the refusal. The council reviewed it and refunded her £780 for the previous 2 years. That money was sitting in the council's account the whole time. The letter was the key. Now, this process works whether you are on pension credit or not. Even if your income is above the pension credit threshold, you may still qualify for a partial council tax reduction through your council's local scheme. Every council in England runs its own scheme for working age and pension age residents. The eligibility thresholds and reduction percentages vary, but the route in is exactly the same. A letter to the Revenues and Benefits team. If you want to take control of your retirement finances without the stress of online forms and long phone queues, subscribe to this channel. I'll keep giving you the exact approach that works, in plain language, without the jargon. But before I wrap up, let me show you the bigger picture of what's actually at stake here. Here's what the two options actually look like over time. If you do nothing, you continue paying the full council tax bill, year after year. If your bill is around £2,000 and you're eligible for a full reduction you haven't claimed, that's £2,000 gone from your retirement income this year. Over 10 years, that's somewhere between £12,000 and £25,000 that left your account when it didn't legally have to. And as your income is fixed and bills only go up, each year the gap between what you keep and what you could have kept gets a little wider. If you do something, you spend 15 minutes writing a letter. You save between £500 and £2,500 this year. You open the door to other related benefits, like the warm home discount, if you qualify. And you build a paper trail that makes future correspondence with the council much easier because they have a file on you and they know you're paying attention. This isn't about panic. It's about the difference between being passive and being intentional about your money in retirement. Right now, today you have a choice. Keep the council's money or keep yours. Now there is one final thing I want to make sure you know. It's the most valuable discount of all, and it requires you to use a specific phrase when you write to the council. Let's bring this together. The single-person discount, the adult-child disregard, the council tax reduction for pension credit recipients, the right to backdate, these are all legal entitlements. They exist in writing in UK law right now. But none of them are automatic, and none of them will come to you. You have to ask. The letter is how you ask. You worked hard for this retirement. You paid into the system for decades. The law says you don't have to keep paying the full council tax bill. Claiming what you're entitled to isn't charity. It's not a handout. It's simply correcting an overcharge that the system allowed to happen. If this video helped you see something you hadn't seen before, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. And if you know another UK pensioner who's been paying their council tax without ever questioning it, share this video with them. The money doesn't find you, but now you know where to look.